Chronicle Vault presents Ancient Civilizations, the Phoenician Empire. Much is said about the importance of contemporary culture and how it served as a basis for the development of Western thought. But the Greeks received different influences from other peoples, are ancient and exotic, that still preserve there to this day. The Phoenicians are among the most developed and influential peoples of antiquity, and its culture would have a great impact on future civilizations. These people inhabited the coastal region of ancient Canaan, where today is the seacoast of Lebanon, of Syria and Israel. In antiquity, they were known as Purple People. The term Phoenician originates from the Greek word phoenix, which can mean carmine or purple, a color considered quite luxurious at the time. Around 1200 before Christ, Egypt lost some territories due to popular uprisings, and the Phoenician culture began to flourish in this period. The power vacuum in the region allowed the Phoenicians build their own trade routes and strengthen their armies. As well as the Sumerians and the Greeks, the Phoenicians invented many cities, states that were maintained, independent and with distinct cultural traits, with the development of a culture based on maritime trade. The Phoenicians came into contact with many different peoples, like the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete and the Mycenaeans in Greece. With the expansion of its domains, the Phoenicians knew territories, where they founded important cities. Among them, we can mention the shooting cities, Astadam and Beirut. One of the greatest contributions that the Phoenicians left to humanity is related to writing. They created an alphabet model that is considered ancestor of all modern alphabets. This alphabet is called the Phoenician phonetic alphabet and arrived in Greece by train from the island of Crete. The Greeks, in turn, added the vowels to the Phoenician alphabet. Things like this. The Greek alphabet, the Phoenicians prospered greatly from the timber trade, slaves and glass, but his most valuable product was the purple strip. This product was a natural dye, extracted from marine snails. This dye has the color purple-red, a color much appreciated by the whole nobility of antiquity. But the value of the purple strip, it was beyond its beautiful color, since the clothes dyed with this dye had the characteristic of not fading over time. Actually, over time, the colors became stronger and more vivid. Another valuable source of income for the Venetians was the high-quality wine. Due to climate issues, Egyptian wine could not compare in quality with the Phoenician, and so they paid in gold for the wine jars. High quality. Coming from Phoenicia, the Phoenicians still had silver trade, copper, tin, and bronze, in addition to producing jewelry and sculptures made of colored glass. With the size and the variety of products circulating in the markets, the Phoenicians accumulated truly astonishing wealth. All this was possible thanks to the amazing boats developed by the Phoenicians. The Phoenician galleys were called barams, as they invented 2 rows of oars. Other models with 3 rows of oars were called triremes. This was the best type of vessel of antiquity, and his style was copied by the Greeks, Egyptians, and later by the Romans. The Phoenicians invented a polytheistic religion, in which worshipped a great number of gods and sacred beings. Something curious is that, despite having a culture oriented towards the sea, the pantheon of Phoenician gods seemed to have no maritime deities. It was also customary to perform animal sacrifices in religious rituals, something that was common in most religions practiced at the time. However, the Phoenicians also sacrificed human beings, including children and newborns, as well as the Minoans of the island of Crete. The Phoenicians invented this duality, being one developed people, but with one strange connection to primitive customs. As great browsers, the Phoenicians covered one amazing sea distance. For your time, they navigated and created colonies all along the coast of Africa, reaching the Iberian Peninsula, where Spain and Portugal are today. It is believed that the Phoenicians also reached Great Britain and traded with the tribes, Celts who lived there. 65 years before the founding of Rome, the Phoenicians founded the city of Carthago. In North Africa, this city that would become of Rome's biggest rivals. There are some theories that the Phoenicians would have crossed the Atlantic Ocean and arrived in northeastern Brazil, but to considers this a fanciful and exaggerated theory. The Phoenicians are often cited in the Bible. Perhaps the most famous biblical belief be the Jezebel tribe, daughter of the Etbaal king. From the city of Sidon, Jezebel became famous for having married King Ahab of Israel and have exerted a lot of influence, acting like queen and priestess. Even with all its fame and wealth, the Phoenicians did not have a unified military force, and because of that, failed to offer much resistance against the attacks of the emerging Persian Empire. The city of Carthago, it was one of the main shelters for the Phoenicians. With the increase in population, the city has grown substantially. 332 before Christ, Alexander the Great conquered the famous Phoenician city by shooting. That was under Persian rule. Alexander was relentless with the city, ordering the death of 2,000 citizens. Among them were Persians and Phoenicians. Shortly after, Phoenician culture disappeared from its homeland. The ancient region of Phoenicia came to be dominated by other powers, like the Greeks and Egyptians. But Carthago continued to develop and prosper. Discover your own cultural identity, and its citizens came to be known as Carthaginians, but considered themselves heirs of the glorious tradition of Phoenician civilization.
Subscribe to the Vault of Chronicles channel. Stories you've never heard, every day here.